obviously we've kind of all already moved past this game. Because of the lack of content and just, you know, the microtransactions and stuff, and the fact that any substantial content is all behind pretty steep paywalls. I don't think people want to buy Kombat Pack 1 yet, because we all know, like if this isn't your first game, you know not to buy the DLC straight away. Or the game straight away, really, but like, even if you get the game, you're not going to want to get the DLC until you get that complete edition package that, like, I mean, for MK11, it basically made, like, the Kombat Pack free. It was, like, £40. So it was, like, the cost of Aftermath plus Kombat Pack 1 and 2 for, like, a £5. Pretty mental. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about the cameos, which Kombat Pack's relevant to, because there's 4 more it's going to give us, and it's already given us 1 in Tremor. And, yeah, I just want to talk about them, because they're interesting, and it's the main gimmick of this game. It's the big new gameplay mechanic. Every MK does this, but they establish at least one new gameplay mechanic. You know, like I guess from as early as MK3 with the stage interactables. That's probably it. You know, like 4 had the sidestep movement. Deadly Alliance had so much. Deception had death traps, breakers, all that stuff. Armageddon had air combat. And because DC had like all the weird rock paper scissors mechanic things. MK9 had tag team. MKX had variations. MK11 had custom variations and crushing blows. And now this game is cameos. Which, you know, it makes sense to have a new big game mechanic. But this one's very controversial because it's just weird. It's so weird because this is not an assist writer franchise. And I was kind of thinking, like, when it was announced, and like when they did announce the thing, that was kind of the only information we had that mattered. Other than like the reveal trailer that revealed a bunch of characters we already knew were getting into the game. Except maybe Raiden, because they might have wrote off Raiden. Because like 11 has the thing where he's like, oh, I'm immortal now, so I might die or whatever. Which you think they'd used to write him off. But no, he's just a guy now. Brilliant. See, I'm already digressing into like random side tangents, but yeah, it's always been a mixed thing since announcement, and obviously I've had some takes on it in the past, and now that it's out, now that it's been around for a while, now that we've gotten like a DLC cameo, I might as well give my thoughts on it, because they've changed. I think I'm more positive. I think it's now just very on the game, and rightfully so. I think most people are, because this game has failed on basically all fronts. You know, like even from a gameplay standpoint, like it looks fun, but it's very unbalanced. You know, so I wouldn't even say it's good like comparatively, and it's not good like for casual offline, because where's the offline content? It's non-existent pretty much. So that's like kind of an issue. But yeah, the cameos, they're definitely a big appeal of the game, because like yes, they are essentially just 3, maybe 4. In the case of Tremor, you got 6 little abilities packed into a character. It's your variation pack. It's the new variation system, and they've kind of been cheeky about it because they're selling them separately now. It's just another thing they can monetize on. When in actuality, it's basic. Like, I was making a second model, and most of the carrier models aren't that impressive at all. And I like the look of most of them. I just think like they're pretty fundamentally basic. Outside of that, like no more effort goes this than just making a variation. Implementing a mechanic to begin with, that's tricky, but you've already done it. Adding another one, that's not too hard, I'd imagine. I'm not a programmer. I'm sure it's tricky regardless, but it's not a level of difficulty where it should be sold separate to the actual base characters. I feel they probably should have like bundled them together, although that's tricky because you might want a cameo in this with a different character. I feel like you could sell them separately, but for like £1, like I really don't think they're worth that much. I really don't, because like they're like £4. We know what Tremor for Tremor is £4. The playable card is like £6.49, I think. It's a very specific number. Inflation hit, right? Because it used to be a £5 for a character, and that was like that for the Injustice games. It was like that for MK9, X, and 11. And now that's just £1 more than getting a cameo. So it's really not worth buying DLC separate, which is quite a shame, because I know from this line there's going to be a lot of specific names people want of that cameo roster, because there's a lot of unique picks there that I think a lot of people are going to want to get an experience of. It's just or not. You know, Movado's presumably coming next on Quan Chi. I might do a reaction to that, because I think that's like the one DLC thing I'd probably give a fuck about, because I like Quan Chi and I think Movado's like fantastic. So yeah, I might do a reaction to that whenever that comes. I think it's next. I mean, we don't really know. Also, the DLC characters, I should clarify, because you've got these Black Top slots, because they're kind of being vague about it. I assume they just did it because they don't have the models ready, although they do for Chameleon. Which is weird, because Chameleon seems to be coming in last. And my logic for this is, Ennis has basically told news companies, you know, so they do press releases about what the cameo selection is. Like they themselves have like confirmed to have done this, but they themselves have not said it. They've relied on other sources they've told to spread word of the cameo selection for your overpriced combat pack, and it's weird. I don't know why they can't just give us a proper list. I think what I've been told is pretty accurate, but there's some question marks around one character, and also the order in general. It seems everything's in order, because they also told the companies to release the approximate release dates for the playable characters, and they're in order of how they listed it. And then you have the list of DLC cameos. They might be on the eShop, actually. I'm not going to bother checking, but maybe they put them in. Now, I don't know, but it's kind of vague, because you have Movado next, and I think it's Farah. It might be Jeanette Cage, and I think there's Jeanette, I don't know. Jeanette Cage, and that's like the gender bent Johnny Cage from an universe that we haven't seen anything of, so no one's attached about this character. Like, funny joke character, your assist mechanic should be used for like fun picks like that. But you have your joke characters. Where's Mocap? Meat, I don't even think is a joke character, but Meat would be fucking funny. Where is Meat? Where is Meat? Genuinely, Meat is one of the most requested cameo picks. We're talking about specifically the cameo roster. Meat is like really up there for requested picks, because like a lot of like fan favorite characters that people just want a base roster. But Meat like suits this roster so well, and they're not doing anything with him, at least not this DLC. And I'm more excited for like future DLC, not for the characters. I don't care, because I think unless they do go with like Sector and Cyrax, because it's been a while. I like Sector, I like Cyrax. They'll probably be butchered as characters, because I don't think they're going to be cyborgs, which is going to be weird. But the cameo section should be good. Like, they waste, like, 1 in every 5 picks on a weird character that's, like, already in the game. I mean, it's not. We've always Johnny Cage at first. So we've always Jean-Claude Van Damme Johnny Cage. We thought that was a cameo. I thought that was a skin. First time we were just getting regular Johnny Cage, and people thought, oh, that's where we'll get Green Glow Johnny back. That makes sense. But now it seems like it's Jeanette, because the actual press releases, because the other two were just leaks. They were just leak information. This seems like the proper one. But it's just a weird pick. You have a lot of silly characters from the history of Mortal Kombat, a lot of obscure stuff you can pull from, and you're choosing a AU character that was completely made up, fabricated for this game. So there's no like history with the character. So it's quite a waste. And I say that's someone who thinks it'd be pretty fun to have a female Johnny Cage and assist. I just think you got a lot better picks to do. Especially if Cassie's not in the game. Like I'm not gonna like, just label her as female Johnny Cage, but that's, like, in terms of characters that exist, she's always the one who represents that. So it's weird not how it's coming out. I'm pretty sure she's going to be Kombat Pack 2, which I think is dumb. I don't think the Kombat Kid should be in this game at all outside of the not NPC, the non-canon cameos. And I don't say that because I dislike them. I really like the Kombat Kids. I think all 4 of them should have been in MK11. But it's a game late. The next gen stuff is done. So you've got to do stuff. They've already submitted like leaked auto for Takedo. Takedo's a fucking cousin of Kenshi now. Are they just going to do that for everyone? They're just all cousins now? Like, is that it? Because I really don't know. And I find it really stupid. Not because of some of the characters. It's just annoying because you could have done this a game ago. Because we think Kung Jin is also DLC, which is quite out there. I think he's popular enough, but that's surprising. Like, this game is lacking in NetherRealm era newcomers. You've made the trade-off. You've had 3 era newcomers, which, quite frankly, are better. I think they have a much more interesting cast than most era newcomers, but the era newcomers are cool, I think. It is some face value, you know. And you only have Geras and Tremor only kind of counts. I wouldn't really say counts at all. But obviously his playable appearance was in MKX. Pharah's coming without Tor. And that's another weird one, but I do actually really like that one. And it's because Pharah's like the actual assist character. Because when you were playing as Tor, you're moving as Tor. You control Tor. There's even a variation where you're just Tor and Pharah watches from the sidelines. Where Pharah just doesn't get involved at all. You're just all Tor. Which is cool. The creative moveset for a pretty nothing character, which is a shame because Tor is quite a cool idea. So it's going to be cool to get Pharah back. Obviously without Tor, but no one's going to miss Tor. Because Pharah's the actual character there, and Pharah will take up like her old assist role. So basically the character you pick is her Tor. I think that this Pharah is going to be like the Tor creature we see her become in her MKX, which I think is stupid. I think you're missing the point. Like, she was an assist character, pretty much. Just tied to Tor. Now she's going to be an assist with the assist mechanic. I don't see why she'd need to be fully grown for that. I know you can hit cameos. That's an actual mechanic. You can hit cameos to cancel stuff, which I'm glad they implemented that, because I was very worried that you can't counter them for a while. And a lot of them usually still can't, but still, it counts. But I mean, they've shown like the MK movie, you know, fucking Scorpion like kills Pharah, like stabs her through the head. I don't think they care about a child getting hit in Mortal Kombat, honestly. I don't think it's that much of a concern. Because you're not going to be doing any brutal moves, like, you're not going to be doing fatal blows, you're not going to be doing fatalities. You're just going to like hit her and she's just going to knock down and run off. Which in MKX, if you knocked Tor down, she'd do the same thing. So I imagine that's going to play like that. Another for Arson is Pharah will be on the back of your player, which I think would be very awesome. I think it would be a really cool thing to add. But I think they don't care to do that, to put in the effort, because you'd have to change her position on each character to avoid clipping. And even for some, you got different skins and stuff, so it's just quite a tricky thing to do. Especially with certain animation stuff, I just don't think it's feasible. But I do think it would just be she jumps in and does whatever. I don't know what moves she'll have, because quite frankly, I can't remember any Pharah moves except like Tor throwing her as like a low attack. I think that's probably one that will be kept around. I imagine she'll be like Darius, in the sense that you do stuff with her. A lot of animations that Tor would usually use her for, but now you just whichever character you pick, which is cool. Tor on his own is not going to be a playable character. I've seen theories that no fucking shot. Tor's done. They found a way to get Farah, the actual character, away from Tor. Tor's not coming back. Not for a while. Not for a long time. He is less of a shot than fucking Sue Howe at this point. Because Tor's a non-character. He's just some meathead guy. Which I kind of feel bad for him, but I don't care. Because again, non-character. I don't miss him. Yeah, that's a whole thing with Ferret. Other interesting thing is Chameleon, it's the female chameleon, the one in the story mode. I don't know why they couldn't get a 16th assist ready for the base roster for release, because like one, she feels like one that's just meant to be on the main roster. To me, and it being assist stings a lot less, but come on. The only thing to make up for it is they are doing the Tremor gimmick, and we'll get into what Tremor does. But essentially, she'll be able to like have an ability where she just swaps her power, and then you get 2 abilities of like each female ninja. So you'll swap between like Katana, Melina, Jade, and maybe Tanya, because she copies from Tanya. You might throw in Scarlet. Frost is already a cameo, so that'd be pointless, and also Kameen didn't copy from her in Armageddon anyway. Because this is Armageddon Queen as well, which is cool. We know her costume changes colour because she uses like a Katana and a Melina move, the NPC, and they have it programmed so her costume changes colour, which is cool. I'm sure she'll get like actual unique assist abilities though. Especially if she's going to have multiple, like Tremor, then you're going to want to have nerf moves there. But yeah, I think it was going to be either disappointing for the wait, or it's going to be very cool. I mean, say between them. I could absolutely see Jade just not being a part of the moveset, and Tanya's there instead. I can see that being the case. Because I don't know if Jade's going to be a future fully playable character. I don't think she should, honestly. I think the main appeal for Jade would be having her in story. I don't know I'm talking about like a story expansion. Because I think that's too late to introduce. I mean like with Katana from like the start. You don't have that, so you kind of lost the point there. I'd like her as a cameo though. I think that'd be totally fine. Which in that case, then, yeah, you probably wouldn't want to give Chameleon Jade moves. I think if Jade is excluded from Chameleon's moveset entirely, that probably suggests she's not going to be a cameo. But I think she'll be either cameo or fully playable. I assume, because you've already got kind of like leaks of like dialogue from like characters far down the line. Like, as far as like a story expansion and Kombat Pack 2, there's a lot of characters. Nothing confirmed yet. But it seems believable, all of them. But we'll have to wait and see. And I think Jade was amongst those characters. I can't remember because I don't care enough to remember. But she probably was, I imagine. Because I think they're being very safe with the picks. Outside the combat kits, which I don't know whether they're. Especially when you've got, because of Kung Jin and Cassia, or of that lineup of seemingly data mine characters, but we don't know for sure. It's just dialogue that seems to connect to them. Then where's Jackie? I think that'd be very weird to have 3 out of 4. Like 2 is fine because that's half, right? So 2 are there, 2 are missing out. If you have an unbalanced amount, then you just leave 1 out, and that's just mean. I assume Jackie would be a cameo, but that's not the same. I was saying that'd be cool. That'd be cool. You can have Jackie like assist your Combat Kid character. That seems fun. But I think that's it. I think that's it in like discussion of like future stuff with cameos. I don't know why I started with that. Oh, actually, no, that's bad. That's bad because I can break down each cameo of this select screen. Which actually is boring because you have the grey backgrounds and stuff, but I like her when I was like unique like face poses, I guess. They have unique headshots. I guess that kind of something. It's better than MKX, where they were just like T-posing. And the background's just more colourful in general. And I like the select thing. It's like little portal stuff. I also like how player 1's like a red colour, when it's usually blue for player 1 and red for player 2. But Deception, it was like red for player 1, so that's probably unintentional, but it's cool. But we'll get into this. This whole roster, but just in general, I think the shortcomings with this mechanic are the actual viability of stuff. And I said this, and it's a still a take I stand by. I thought at least my worry was there's only a set few characters, like 1 or 2 that are viable per character. And as it currently stands, that's pretty much the case for most. Shujinko is absolutely an exception because Shujinko is fine with every character. The effectiveness of Shujinko probably depends on the actual character he's copying from. Even you've got certain things like, if you pick Shujinko against a Shang Tsung, he just takes Shang Tsung's cameo. He doesn't take anything for Shang Tsung himself, which is interesting. Meaning you just get the opponent's cameo. He'll just do whatever their cameo does. So if there's a Darius, then you're going to be able to spin him around and stuff. So you just have a reskinned Darius, basically. Which I think is very awesome. We'll get into him. But yeah, I think it's quite surreal. Again, I think casually it's a very fun thing to have all these options. And you're going to get a lot of replayability just out of coming up with your pairings. Because there's hundreds of pairings if you combine them. You think of like how many cameos are here, which, if you look at this is a very small roster for an assist roster. There are more characters on the fully playable roster, which again kind of beats the point. And it makes it quite irksome that they have like repeat characters here. When they announced that, I thought for sure that, oh, the fully playable roster is just going to have cameo forms. And then you have the unique cameo roster on top of it. I thought that was what's going on. But unfortunately, that was not the case. So yeah, having like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Clown definitely harms the lineup. Of course, we get Janet Cage, which I wouldn't say is as bad just because it's different to Johnny. But you could make her a premier skin for Johnny. I know it's a different hitbox it would be, but they've shown it they can do it. They've shown they can use male characteristics on a woman model. They've proved that. So actually, you could probably just make her fully playable. Honestly, same for stuff like a Frost Sub-Zero. You know, I think stuff like that's possible. Frost a cameo here, someone's not really urgent. But it'd be cool. And I don't know if it's just because they don't want to pay actors to do like intro dialogue stuff, because that's time consuming and costs money, because they've got to do a lot of lines. Which, if that's the case, get rid of intro dialogues. If it's limiting what we can do in terms of premiere skins to represent characters, and just have that costume variety and have that character variety, then get rid of it. Especially when it's only like 1 line each now, because you don't really get anything from that. There's nothing important going on with the intro dialogues in this game. Like, really nothing. You get all you need of each character from the story, pretty much. Even the ones that are just jobbers. Like, they do not say anything important in intro dialogue, that's for sure. Like, Reiko's probably the coolest one. But that's like, I can't remember anything that memorable. That's on the side. Cameos don't get any intros either, so they are complete mutes. They don't even get like little voice lines between doing moves and stuff, which I thought they could have at least done that. I mean, that's a shame. I think the one has like a line. Even in the story, they're pretty much mutes. Like, Goro gets 1 line, Serena gets 1 line. That's it. Which is stupid. You'd think they'd use this as an opportunity to get all their NPC characters that they want in the story to be there. Here they only use 4, I think, and one's came in who's an iron on the roster yet. And they were completely unnecessary because they're not characters. They gain nothing from being in the story. You know, like, you'll see Darius with Havoc and you'll be like, oh, that's cool, they remembered their little partnership. Then they do fuck all and they don't get to talk. Darius doesn't even get to react when, like, Havoc's face gets melted. He doesn't show up on the screen. It's just weird. Like, they're just very out of place. As long as they needed assists for characters, because you have fights that just get rid of cameos. Which, that's the whole thing about how this probably should have been a mode. This probably should have been optional. I'd like it to be brought back if it was optional. Other than that, and I probably would say I like this feature overall. I don't really want it to return, if that makes sense. Unless they made like a stacked amount of assists, then that'd be cool. But yeah, as it stands, I don't think it's worth having this as a gimmick. But I think it's cool as a one-off thing. You know, I like, this is not a feature. This is not something in this game that pisses me off. It's really not, which surprised me because I was critical of it just from the concept, and I think it's a pretty daft concept. And I don't think they've executed the concept quite well. I just think it's, you know, mostly classic versions of characters, so I like them. You know, I just think it's kind of neat, as little as what they are. I think that's something. So yeah, I think like story role, that's a shame. They just don't get any characterization. Most of them are non-canon, which is fine. Like, don't force all the cameos in the story, but the ones you have, characterize them. Why not? Give these guys bios. Not even like canon bios, just give us a rundown. Oh, that'd be difficult because they do retcon everyone's lore, so you can't really recount anyone's lore potentially being contradicted in a later entry. It's hard. But basically, if this is your first time playing Mortal Kombat, and you don't know these characters, you're not really going to learn anything about them. You're not going to learn much at all about them. Even the ones that are in story, you'll learn nothing on them. Which I think is a big shame, because I think that takes away a big point that I thought they'd do to Kameos, is you bring in obscure names, you see how people like them, then you can make them fully playable at a later point. In a later game, I mean. But they're not doing that, really. Or maybe they are, but you're not going to really garner much reaction when they have no character, there's no story to tell, and honestly, like, Kameos are very integral to the gameplay. I get why it's not an optional mode. You do need them, fundamentally, for this game, for the gameplay. But yeah, it's only like a few moves, you know? So it's quite tricky. Like, I think Darius has got a lot of new fans, but it would have gotten a lot more, like, he got characterized, you know? Or just like, just any information about him in general, other than he's Havoc's buddy, which people don't even understand. And Havoc and Darius having an alliance makes complete sense. That's the least questionable part of Havoc in this game, is that he's allies with Darius. But yeah, like especially about context, which we don't even really have context actually. But like, you got Darius, this dude in sunglasses, and he's just with all these villains. Like, he's just there, he's chilling. It's pretty wild. It's a wild lineup. I will say the roster, it's critical lineup of it, and also all the lore changes. They had to bring all these characters back. The game where they retcon everything. You get stuff in the story where they have lineups like Quan Chi, Natara, Serena, Havoc, and Darius. That's like a whole group there, and that's just fucking wild. That all five of them, one way or another, are in the game. But Quan Chi is not. Quan Chi is not, ironically enough. Yeah, that's just wild. It does create cool stuff like that from this limited selection. Because it's only, like, besides DLC, now again, it's only 12. Because you have 3 slots going to repeat characters. It's kind of 14 because the cameo Scorpion's Hanzo, who's not on the base roster. So I can tolerate that. I can even tolerate Sub-Zero because it's presumably Kuai Liang, like Cryomancer Kuai Liang, which is the version of Kuai Liang people actually care about. But we'll get into why that might not be the case, though. But yeah, I think just overall, I think it's a cool concept. I think they did some cool stuff with it. Like, the cameos I really like, and it makes me want to see more cameos. which is not something I thought I'd feel. I think it was Darius is real. Darius, who's been the only real surprise of this game, in terms of, like, he wasn't the one. Okay, Shijinko's another one. Shijinko's another one. Even though he was elite beforehand. Shijinko and Darius was like big surprises. Also, I thought this is going to be what they do to relegate, like, all the 3D era characters, and they didn't do that. This is actually, like, got quite a lot of generic characters. Like, you've got MK1 characters like Kano and Sonya. You have Jax, which, it's nice that they're giving mainstay characters a break, and they still get to showcase and assist. I don't think Jax should have been one of those characters. I think he should have picked Johnny, or actually, and like basically anyone else. Because I think Jax is one who always stays fresh, and he's always a likable character. Sonya Kano need a break though. This is an absolutely good spot for him. And then you have Kung Lao, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion, who probably shouldn't have the slots to begin with. Scorpion I can tolerate. And Sub-Zero to an extent. Kung Lao, just no. There's no reason for him. No, Second and Cyrax. You wouldn't think they're stand-up picks, but they are, because it's been a decade since they were last in some playable format. Which is weird. Striker too. But in general, Striker's more standout. Especially when it's MK3 Striker, so it's the really goofy B-cop looking Striker. Like, that's fun. And then you've got Goro, who, you know, he shows up quite commonly. And the Goro, because I have some issues with the Goro cameo. But, it's nice to get a Shokan rep. Why Kintaro isn't on the base roster is beyond me. He was the most obvious big return you had. I don't know why Kintaro is not in this game. And there's no leaks suggesting, there's no data point suggesting that he's planned for future DLC. Which is mind-baffling if he misses another game when Motaro's back. Motaro returned before fucking Kintaro. How? Which, alright, Motaro coming back. That's awesome. Motaro's fucking awesome. I think it'd be a huge missed opportunity if they didn't have Motaro on this assist roster, where they can finally get Motaro in the game in some way, because he is one where essentially because of the horse body we can't animate him properly, which I think is bullshit. I think you can still make a boss out of him. He would have to function differently though with the 4 legs, which in that case just make him a Minotaur, like Armageddon did, which isn't ideal. But would you rather that or no Motaro? No Taro. You know? But yeah, Cameo Motaro is very cool. That's absolutely one of the best picks. Shijinko and Darius then are the... Oh, okay, Serena's there too. I keep forgetting Serena. They're the only 3-year characters, and even then Serena, you know, iffy on what you count her as, because Hideo was Torment Edition, which is the Deadlines GBA port, in terms of playable stats, but also, you know, there's mythologies. But I will counter. So we got Frida, and Darius is very out there. He's very out there. I think that's awesome. You know, like Hataru's not even in this game, and he's quite a popular character. So it's very cool that they brought Darius back. I feel like Darius would have been popular with the devs, weirdly enough, because if you go to like Deception, like his bio kind of stuff, like it's just like Ed Boon and a team just sucking off how great this dude is. Like, they're really happy with his character, and then he just never came back. So I really want to sketch my eyes in, so you can make a return. I was saying that I don't really care for the new Saito. I was going to say Saido because they mispronounce it now. And they made a whole ordeal about how you pronounce Reiko. But they can't pronounce a whole fucking realm. Well done, NetherRealm. Well done. Serena I have issues with. The cameo one. We'll get to that. But Serena back in some way. That's cool. I think she's highly requested and probably should have been playable. I wouldn't make her a future DLC though. Because then you just invalidate the assist. Like she's a lock-in for the next roster. I think that much is clear. So I think Serena fans need to chill out. I'm a Serena fan. I just think we need to chill out. I don't like the Serena cameo, but I think this is fine. I mean, this is fine. And then Shijinko, awesome. The fact that he's Breakout to assist is kind of insulting, but he didn't exist in like the past 3 games anyway, so I guess we gotta ease him back in. And also he's like a teenager right now. I think Shinko's coming back next game. I think in terms of the big 3 era terms, I don't think Darius is probably, unfortunately. I don't think he's gonna get that. Even though his cameo role is pretty cool. I think Serena's absolutely getting into the next roster. And Jingo, I feel, is, because you have Kung Lao's ending, which I hope isn't even canon, but I feel like they're trying to set something up with him. Regardless of if it's good or bad, I think he's coming back. But yeah, like right now, until we get Future DLC, it is just like, it is the original trilogy set of characters, which is like usually pretty bland. But then also they've neglected like Cyrex, Section, and Striker for so long that it's kind of fresh to see him here. Goro is also always cool to see, even though he's so botched in this game. And then Matara, we have not seen since Armageddon. So that's another big return, regardless of him debuting in one of the arcade games. But yeah, this isn't like a crazy roster. If you, like, when I thought of this sister roster, I thought, oh, they'll throw in 3 characters. Which probably would have gotten more if they did that, but the base roster gives us like 4-ish, I think. I can't remember the exact number, but like there's 5 characters that returned from 2006 on the base roster. Here we have less. We have 4. Yeah, 4. Well, and then we'll get more. You know, Movada's going to be off 5th. Chameleon's also coming. Would be cool to get male Chameleon. Maybe you can swap between them. But at the same time, you have like Sophie and Sub-Zero. If we had a male Chameleon, I would not make that a separate slot. I would not. Also, I think Chameleon benefits more from if he beta playable returns, so we can actually characterize them. Chameleon's a very cool one now, especially when Chameleon's has always been like a version exclusive. This is like a first time not being a version exclusive, which is kind of wild. It took a while to get there. And Vera is pretty standard just because it's her on her own, and it just targets on the whole mechanic. Janet Cage, who cares? Future cameo picks, I think I'd want. I think Baraicho. The problem is, I think he should have been a story. He's one where I feel like I said with Jade, I feel like he should be story, and without that, you kind of lost the point. But because he should have had Ban & Bo's role. The TR should have been like Baraicho's Brewery, a callback to Armageddon, Motor Combat, and then you just have Baraicho be a cameo. He doesn't need to be fully playable. He's more respected in lore, and he's a character with an awesome moveset, regardless of what you think about the puking and the fighting. He's always been a very fun character. I'll talk about some of my previous videos, but yeah, I still absolutely take him as a DLC cameo, because I need some assurance that he's not just been replaced by Mad & Bo. I hope Man & Bo's not a DLC cameo either. I don't care. And if that happened, then I'd feel like Baraicho was replaced. Maybe you're doing both, then I'd probably be more fine with it. But yeah, I don't want him throwing in a new OC NPC characters in the assist role, because you're not giving him enough spotlight for me to even give a fuck about him. So what's the point? You know, like this is very much the rosters are just actual classic characters, and then they, for like a few characters here, they choose to do just new takes on them. And then you've got Janet Cage of all people. They do some weird picks, but most of it's pretty damn cool. What else do I want? I'd want basically anyone from the 3D era. I'd take anyone from the 3D era. I think Dramin should be playable. I think he's one of the most requested characters. And if so, for an Modok cameo, he'd probably be downscaled as a hell, but that'd be a perfect duo to have. That'd be very fun. Blaze is another one I think you could do some cool stuff with. Taven and Dagon should just be around. I feel like they should have found a way to bring them back in this game, because especially when you've got like the Armageddon quest done, so they should just be around. Like Taven, he shouldn't be like encased in anything, so there's no real reason to not have him. So to justify, they just said they don't exist. I'm pretty sure in Angel Dog, which is fucking lame. So I think doing that and then just making him assist, that'd be kind of lame. So I'd probably just exclude him altogether. Suhao cameo. That's absolutely one I want. Suhao cameo. That'd be baller, I think. I was going to say give him a redesign. But honestly, you don't need to. I feel like that design he has is fine. Just do a new graphics. Obviously, the cameo models are pretty basic, but let's see what people think about him. Looking at him as a in modern graphics, see what people think of him, because I think that'll be an interesting test. I don't know. I don't think we'll gain much because of the nature I said of the cameos and how they're not characterized or anything. That'd be cool. Which then we'd have Nevada and Suhao's cameos. Ideally, you'd want one as playable, but Suhao's not becoming playable. So, tragic, I know. It is weird. I'm trying to figure characters that you'd have as assists that actually pair well with characters. And you've got a lot of good pairings, but then there's some cameos that, like Movado, he doesn't really pair with anyone except, like, the Daily Lines for that callback. Reptile, maybe? What was an idea I had? You have like a red dragon reptile, and then you can actually make use of this weird red colour palettes that are a better Ermac design than Ermac's actual design. That's a fun idea, I suppose. And he'll probably not be optimal with all three of those characters, so it won't mean anything. But yeah, Suhao would just be cool. Even if he pairs with... Actually, okay, never mind. I was going to say paired with the Special Forces characters, who are also cameos. God damn it. That's a shame. I'd still take him. Mocap and Meat. Very obvious picks. That, like, Meat especially was in base roster. Remember when we thought there'd be a 24 character and a 16 cameo? And the 16 cameo most thought was Meat? What happened to that? I think he should show up. A shout out to the Hungry Meato consumable from K11. That one's pretty fire. Where his head just like bites your little tootsies. It just comes across the screen, bites toes. Like that one's pretty rad. But like seriously, you do so much fun stuff with me. You could bring back his bowling ball head, which I guess was what the point of the 11 consumable was, where it's just his head going across the ground. But like, just have him like throw it off screen or like far off the screen. So like sometimes you'll just see the head rolling and nothing else. Like that'd be fun. He'd just be a fun character to have, and obviously he's one that you don't actually have ults for, so him just having one costume isn't really a big deal. And like you have his like the palettes, just have it be his blood changing colours. And that'd be fun, because you don't actually have blood stains or like marks on the cameos. Even if they get hit, that doesn't happen. So when we matter what colour his blood is, we don't have to like alter the blood texture or anything. It'd just be what his skin looks like. So I think that'd be fun. We just get like the blood of like different species he's made up of. Like you have blue for Kaite, and speaking of Devora. I'd take Devora as an assist. I think she has some quirky stuff you could do. She doesn't really pair with anyone. And she was in the past 2 games, so I can't really say that she's essential. But I am trying to think of like the actual newcomers, rest newcomers, because they're not represented well in this game at all. Because they're basically non-existent besides Garrus. And I get why, but it does show how the rosters need to be bigger. And even with this assist roster, you're still neglecting a trilogy of characters. I think you've chose the trilogy with the worst newcomers. Like, there's not even any newcomers, period, in this game. Like, you've had to make a lot of sacrifice to get 3D characters on this roster, and they're still a minority. That I still say there should be more, which is very funny. Handed to DLC characters, this doesn't apply to the cameo roster, although saying that Kameos was probably meant to be the 16th playable cameo. Because I feel like that's just weird to have as like an NPC cameo. That's just weird. I don't think that was the plan. But Quan Chi and like 100% were meant to be base roster to get that 25 roster. So no matter how much DLC they add, they're always going to be playing catch up. They're always going to be playing catch up because they had 2 characters they pushed to pay DLC. They had to pay £12 because they couldn't meet a deadline. It's insane. Anyway, I feel like I have to rant about it every time because that's genuinely the most egregious part of this game. I think that's more absurd than like that weird like microtransaction stuff probably. The fact that they couldn't add fucking Quan Chi and Ermac in time, like blatant base roster characters, and he just went, oh, just put it in the combat pack. Like, that fucking sucks. They're not even the first characters to come. You got Omni-Man before them. Weird. I take basically anyone as a cameo though. I really would. Like even like, you know, I said Jade, Nightwolf. Maybe you could do a female Nightwolf to try that out. I don't know. Like a female Nightwolf just in like MK3 costume, or just have one of each gender. Because I especially don't think with the cameos the model hitbox matters. Yeah. What else? Can anyone just works? I'm not gonna suggest any more characters out on the base roster. I think there's something you can do some cool stuff with. Like, I think Quan Chi should just have a cameo, regardless, because he has one as like the final boss. You just have an NPC Quan Chi cameo. That's blatantly incomplete, and that's just part of the final boss. Just a blatantly incomplete cameo that they don't seem to have intentions on completing. She's not DLC and not anything, which is weird. And also, you probably want that Quan Chi assist because you can do Deadly Alliance team-ups. You probably want it for Shang Tsung as well, but 2 cameo slots, that's just weird. But that's an idea. Bihan's in the game, but a noob cameo, that'd make sense. Though it seems like Noob's going to become playable, which, that's fucking stupid. You really shouldn't, and I like Noob. I think Noob's rad, but like, no. Cyber Smoke should have been an assist. Again, like, ideally, I just have characters that aren't represented in the game at all, but like, if you know the 3 that were chosen here, I think there's better ones. Human Liu Kang, Thunder God Raiden, Cyber Smoke, Noob, who Noob is basically just a separate character anyway, so I don't bother with that anyway, but yeah, I think there's definitely better picks. So yeah, I don't know how many more are getting added. Like assuming there's a Kombat Pack 2, and assuming that was actually complete on like the MK11 one that just halved it. I say you get another 5 there at least. I don't know what the story expansion has. Like, would the story expansion have less cameos if it's free playable characters? So you just get like 2 or something. Like, it's weird how it's not even like 6 per Kombat Pack, because the cameos are releasing alongside the characters, it seems. So I guess for the last character, they just get no cameo, which is weird. Because, like, yeah, it's effort to make these, but I don't realize it's too hard to just have an even number of assists to your fully playable characters. I don't get it. I really don't. But yeah, I think there's at least another 5 coming in. You know, this is a 20 character roster, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, it's 20 cameos at the moment, which is a nice even amount. So like Kombat Pack 2, you get another 5. And ideally there'd be some more sprinkled in, but I don't know at this point. I feel like you could get another 10 in when the game is over, but I don't know what they're doing. Hell, I feel like they should have just had 3 cameos. I thought you should have had a cameo of the season that you unlock in Invasions. Which don't mean limited time bullshit, but that's just Invasions being stupid in the first place. I think that would have given you an incentive to keep coming back to Invasion instead of their quite shit cosmetics that they have a lack of. I think that would have been better, but yeah. As we want to see individual characters. So I'll start with the 3 that just repeats. Sub-Zero here. This is a weird one. By the way, these renders are very cool. He has like the white eyes here, which he didn't at the time of MK2. So I get missing that from him, but they gave him a new model. That looks really daft. It looks so bad, his new model. I think the character does some cool stuff. You know, the ice armor to protect you from projectiles, that one's cool. Most important to me though is he has the ice shaker from Deadly Alliance. Like, that's pretty rad to feature. I like that a lot. I like giving that to just anyone you want. That's pretty fucking dope, because that's a cool stun. And just in general, I think there's a lot of appeal to having an assist Cryomancer. We already have Frost, so, and Frost is an ice ball herself. But it is cool to have these assists where you have like Sub-Zero's dopest ability, being able to freeze people to get free combos. I think just snap between assists, I mean, you can freeze people with any character. I think that's very cool. I think this cameo has cool abilities. I think the model's off. The design's fine because it's the MK11 and MK2 palette. I think there's a problem with this costume overall because there is a whole 4 cameos that reuse this. This costume has been reused like 20 times since it came out in 2019. How you had to buy it? You had to buy the skin pack with the first DLC character, MK11, and then you have to buy a cameo using that model with the first DLC character. It's never funny. But it makes sense now for Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Frost and Tremor, not so much, even though it still fits them. So yeah, my problems aren't really in the model. I don't even mind having normal eyes. I think the Cryomancer eyes are cooler, obviously. Like, he looks much cooler here. But it makes sense not to have him. The question is, which Sub-Zero even is this? Because I think logically it's just Kuai Liang as a Cryomancer. That's what gives it a lot of extra appeal. But when you go to like the customization for these characters, you have like skins and the parts of separate names. The skin itself is just named after the game it's from. Except for Goro's, because it's not from anything or even remotely resembles anything. And he's just Mortal Kombat 992, basically. When Mortal Kombat 2 costumes, they're the MK2 palettes. To my knowledge, at least, definitely not MK1. Which is strange, because Bihan is a Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat 1. So I don't know what they think this Sub-Zero is meant to be. I'm just going to say it's Kuai Liang, and they're just stupid, regardless of what they think. But yeah, it's a strange one, but he's still pretty cool. I just think he's unnecessary. Scorpion is what I like the most. One, I think the model's the best. You have the Spectre eyes and stuff. It's pretty perfect. He does look very cool. And his abilities, they focus on him doing Spectre stuff. Like, he shoots like fireballs into the air to extend juggle combos. You know, you see his skull and stuff. He has the toasty fatality. They focus on stuff like that. And he has a spear that he does to you to pull you away from stuff. That's really cool keep away from it. That's a very clever idea. They do a lot with really cool abilities. Again, like justifying quite a bit, like Sub-Zero. He's even more justified because I think he has a very clear identity. And, you know, Kuai Liang's technically still in MK12. Just sort of Scorpion now. So his absence is less felt as Hanzo. And Hanzo gets the cameo here. This is Spectre Hanzo. And that's cool. I think that's a very cool way to implement him. I think it's just been Scorpion in general. But this makes up for it, I think. To an extent. It doesn't make up for the bullshit of changing who's behind the Scorpion mantle. That's still probably the... Like, it's like gotta be top 10 stupidest, worst decision this franchise has made, and they've made a lot of blunders. And I don't even like Hanzo as Scorpion that much. I was quite tired of him, and now I miss him because Kuai Liang as Scorpion sucks. Kuai Liang's a better character, by the way. He's much more interesting than Hanzo, but not as Scorpion. Nuh-uh. So yeah, I don't really have any complaints to him other than I would just prefer an actual character that's not in this game, period. But yeah, like it's about justifies it. And also I get you want 2 Scorpions. You don't want to make the Scorpion one tricks think about what assist they're going to pick if they don't have another Scorpion. So yeah. Kung Lao. Core Kung Lao. Right. This is the worst cameo in the game. Fucking Christ. I don't want to talk about balancing, but like, Ice in the tournaments, he's just everywhere. He has like a buzzsaw projectile that you spam, and I think the most important thing is how to teleport. He teleports you, which is kind of neat. He does neat stuff, and it's like scoring Sub-Zero. That's where he has cool moves. But this one's even more egregious because he doesn't even represent like a separate identity. He's just Kung Lao again. It's the MK2 costume, not reusing that shitty MK3 costume for the millionth time, which I appreciate because this costume is so much better. But yeah, it's just why he's not even popular enough to be on this this roster. He's really not. Like, all your mainstays, he's the least popular guy. You could have had a human Liu Kang, or a Thunder God Raiden if you wanted that. But no, you just have another Kung Lao. It's not like this is the great Kung Lao. I think this is just Kung Lao. It's just Kung Lao 2. And I think it's just because, like, base roster Kung Lao is lacking in so many stuff. Mainly the teleport. Which harms him quite a bit. He's also, like, fun, but... I don't think this is for most characters anyway. But because of missing variations, there's a lot of special moves that are now going away again. So you'll see some stuff like a teleport being gone. And I guess they want to compensate for Kung Lao, giving him some extra stuff with the cameo. So double Kung Lao is probably Kung Lao's best pairing, which is funny. It would have been cool if they gave like a Great Kung Lao costume and like a Spirit of the Great Kung Lao costume. Which I forgot to mention for Scorpion Sub-Zero, but they have like ice and fire elementals in the story mode. They're just kind of like a power thing. Scorpion Sub-Zero Kings, they're not really people or anything. But they're fully functioning skins. Make me play as them. I'm hoping they get added into the Shrine in future seasons, because I think that gives them even more uniqueness, because while these little guys have no characterization, the elementals, they stand out. They are distinct individuals. So Kung Lao, giving like Great Kung Lao, who I don't care about. I don't care about Great Kung Lao at all, but you can have like Great Kung Lao. Then you can have like Great Kung Lao's spirit. So when he has like him helping him do teleports and stuff, it's the spirit of Great Kung Lao, just like in MK11. Like, that'd be cool, and that would make it feel not weird having two Kung Laos playing them simultaneously. I think he's a completely unnecessary pick. This is probably the worst pick in the franchise's history, honestly. Like, when you think, it's not that important because it's just the assist roster, but in terms of just pure logic, this is the most illogical pick ever, really. I cannot fathom it. I don't know why I do it, because again, a lot of characters are missing classic special moves, because you got rid of variations. So it's not just Kung Lao. Liu Kang doesn't have a proper fucking bicycle kick in this game. He has Kung Lao's whirlwind kicks of all things. Also regular faces, but they're now assists. You got Sonya. She's cool. She's one of us to actually get a costume. You have the MK3 costume for Sonya, which is much better. And also you have like a lot of alt colours for it that actually changed the camo patterns. So I like that. They put a lot of effort into her. It's cool to see. I prefer the military gear, but obviously, you know, it's classic Sonya, that makes sense. I think it's cool to give her a break. And the cameo looks cool. So I don't really have much to say. I just think she's good. They did a good job of like representing a lot of the classic moves and stuff. There's not very much I can play out here. Jax, my complaint is he's not fully playable. You know, he's in most games, you know, it's not end of the world, but I don't know other characters good that of the mainstay roster that should have gotten a break before Jax for sure. He's now got metal arms, which is it's the same costume just with metal arms and different color palettes. But that's good to have that option. I like how they didn't neglect one or the other. You have the option of metal arms, you have the option to have regular arms. And you don't have to pay for it, which I thought you did initially, but it's in the Shrine, I think. So you can just get that Jax skin, which is nice. And it makes me hopeful that you get more cameo skins, like the Elementals. But I probably won't, will I? I probably won't. But yeah, he's cool. They did a good job of stuff. Like, he has stuff like his ground pound, which could also knock you down and stuff. It's kind of funny. I'm trying to think what else does he have. Yeah, he does stuff. He does. I think his most commonly used move is like his air grab, which I think is new. It is not something I recognise because he picks you out the air and does like a backbreaker to you. And that's used to like extend combos. So you have a Kanga that just grapple him off like he's in the middle of your combo. It's fun. But to make up for the fact that they can't do the gotcha grab, because that wouldn't really make sense, because it's like a mashing attack thing. It'd be weird if the cameo had it. They just have him say gotcha after he does that grab, which I think is kind of clever. I was saying that probably could have done it for like his throw. His throw just kind of like ragdolls you around, which I'm also cool with. I think he's cool. I think the mustache looks goofy, but at least they bothered to include that. They bothered to update the model to include that, so I respect it. Kano. Oh man, okay. So, yeah, if you know me, you know I don't like Kano. I like him as a cameo. I really do like him as a cameo here. I think this is a pretty perfect cameo pick. He needed a break. Absolutely. I honestly think Kano is on the rise, which is fucking shocking because he's funny. He is funny in a live action movie. He's the best part of the live action movie, which is baffling. It is baffling how that happened. He's actually funny. He's actually portrayed by an Australian man, which is probably why he's funny for once. Because you don't have a guy doing an Australian accent, a plain Australian accent. That sounds more British than anything. Trying to crack Australian jokes. It doesn't work. It just doesn't. And here, obviously, he's not characterized, which I'm fine with. Give him a break. Give him a break. Just completely. You've still got him represented here, which is cool. He doesn't really have anyone on the roster, but it makes sense to just keep him around in some way. I get that. Like, I'm absolutely not bothered with the mainstay characters still being featured just as assists. I think that's good enough. Not good enough for the Sonya fans, apparently, who will just whine anyway, but is what it is. Kano, definitely most deserving of the mainstays to get a break. And yeah, I think this is good for him. Could he get his MK1 costume back? I'll just get a variation, like, MK3 costume is pretty similar and stuff, but we get, like, full-on MK1 costume here with the bandolier and everything. It's well done. He has an alt hat that does, like, his MK3 colours, the black and the red, which looks kind of strange on this costume, but it works similar enough. I feel like he'll, like if anyone's going to get more costumes, it's probably going to be Kano. He's probably going to get an MK3 skin. I imagine, like if Jax and Sonya did, I assume Kano would. But yeah, you have like the MK3 colours, so that's good. Face model especially, I appreciate the update to represent Richard Divisio. Like, noticeably so. I think they did the same for Sonya. And that's cool. I don't really scan them in or anything because these are pretty simple models, but it's cool. I think the Black Dragon logo's on his brace as well, so there's some cool like detail updates to make his classic design have a lot of detail. I just like it. I think it's cool. His moves, he has like his knife toss move that can like extend combos and stuff. Kano Ball, of course. I think I can't remember if it's an actual move. I think he might do it as like a breaker. Actually, no, he does one out of the air. What am I about? Yeah, he definitely has Kano. And I think his eye laser is quite hard to run because I don't have the game, by the way. I'm just looking at the moves I know, which I have seen them all. I shouldn't remember. Has the heart rate fatality, of course. It's lovely stuff. We're on to MK3 newcomers. You got Striker here. He's fun. He's a lot of fun. The model's goofy, but it's MK3 Striker. What do you expect? I think that works. And his moves, you've got like classical, like the grenade toss. You've got his taser. Handcuffs, that's it. He has this cool move where like he shows up and like handcuffs you. It's cool. Whenever you call him in, there's like a police siren. Like it's very fun. It's a very funny character. His fatality has like his MK3 one where he blows you up for some reason. In classic MK3 style, doesn't make sense. And they do it for all the characters in this like scene anyway, but like Striker does this weird thing, like he's holding his gun in a really weird way. Like a little gremlin, like there's an MK3 on the select screen. That one's fun as well. His handgun's really tiny as well. It's just funny. He's funny. It's Striker being a joke, and I think that's fun. He's a fun character. And yeah, that's about it. I don't know what to say. I think he's a pretty perfectly done cameo. So yeah. for cyborgs. Cyrax is cool, balancing aside with how bullshit his helicopter spin is. The helicopter spin is very awesome. I think that's a very clever move. Using the saw blades in a way like that, because his saw blades, he has the chest saw blade, that's like a unique special move, but you don't want to give a cameo move to that, because you want to have his chest compartment open for the net instead. You want the net for the stuns and stuff, which they do, which is good. So instead they represent the saw blades by combining it with his helicopter fatality, having just spin around upwards to extend little combos, allow you to get like a pretty free air combo. They never so takes the full bar, which they should, because it does a lot of damage because it's multiple hits, and it's pretty easy. It makes a lot of stuff safe as well on bar. He has a bomb, and it's not like he shoots out his chest and just rolls on the floor. They made it so he stands beside you, and when the bomb blows up, he like does his teleports, like all his limbs fly out in like a star pattern, and that's how he teleports away. So you combine the teleport and the bomb in one move, and his fatality is blowing up the earth, which isn't actually his MK3 fatality. This is not actually his first ever fatality, unlike most characters in this game. It is his MK4 fatality. This is actually Smoke's fatality, and then because Smoke has bombs, Cyrax has bombs for some reason in MK3. I don't think for his moveset, just for the fatality. And then MK4 did a logical move, MK Gold even, and they had Cyrax blow the earth instead. So that's cool. And it's a bit trivia, because I don't think many people know that it's actually a Smoke fatality originally, which is wild. But yeah, like that's the funniest fatality in the game. It's cool. So the guy videos are fun. They made fatalities fun again with the cameos, and I appreciate that. It's the classic, you know, cyber costume, which is always great to look at. They didn't change this from Sector's, so he has flamethrowers. It's not really noticeable, but they're there, which is funny. It doesn't really matter though. Speaking of which, here's Sector. Sector's also very funny. He has his upward missile. I can't remember if it's the tracking one, but he has a missile move. He shoots it from his chest. He has the teleport uppercut, which I think combo starter, or I suppose it's a combo extender. It does a pop up. I don't think you could do a juggle and then like have it in the middle there. It'd probably mess up the combo. But yeah, I think he has his blue energy instead of his green, which he's had since like MK9. So much so that I thought he just always had that energy color. There's no account I thought always had it, because of later game changing their power color. It's blue, not green, but I think that's fine. And I say it because it's Cyrax's color now. Like Cyrax is like yellow and green, so Sector getting a blue. It's cool. It looks cool regardless. So he's pretty cool. I think I'm forgetting a move he does, but yeah, because they all have 3 moves at least, and a lot of them I'm only listing 2 moves. He must do some of his flamethrowers surely, because they bothered to put him on both him and Cyrax. So he must have a flamethrower thing. I can't think of what it does off the top of my head. Burns the opponent, I imagine. But yeah, fun character. His fatality, another fun one where he just summons like his crusher thing and crushes you. That's fun. It's nice to get ketchup and mustard back. The boys. Love to see it. Sticking that link right here, we got Frost. No, I like this costume. I think Frost looks good, like the classic MK2 fit. That's just modified a bit for her. But yeah, I would have much rather had a Daylight's costume. It just feels lazy, because we have 2 cameos using this model. Not model, costume. Hers is a bit different in terms of like the pattern of the uniform under her whatever you'd call it, the vest thing, the blue vest. And it looks fine. I think there's a noticeable gap with the grey thing. You can see it here. Right, like this would be where like one of her gear pieces would be in MK11, but she doesn't have it anymore, so that's kind of noticeable. Besides that, it looks fine. It just does feel lazy. And I don't like how they're trying to pass it off as a Deadly Alliance costume, because it's not. It's just not. It's an MK2 style costume, which she never had until MK11. It's just quite lazy. It really is. It's cool that she's back. I'm actually surprised, because like, there's a lot of characters from MK11 that don't even get that on the base roster, which makes sense. You rotate characters in and out. That's smart. But there's a lot that don't even get an assist. And Frost got an assist, which I think is cool. As a Frost main 11, if I had this game, she'd probably be my main cameo, because she seems fun now as well. She's just very cool. I like how she has like the frozen cryomancer eyes, which isn't even accurate either. That's not accurate either, but it does look cool. She had like her bios, I think, and that's like it. But it's cool. It looks cool. It does. I know why Sub-Zero doesn't have them, but it's what it is. Her costume's not accurate anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. Again, I think it should have been a Daylight's costume, because that is... This is like that, but just with no detail, because based on the MK2 pattern, the Daylight's one just looks much better and much more detailed. But she's cool. She finally gets her own ice ball, and it's adorable. It's like it's a tiny little ice ball she makes, and it like, instead of like just being launched across screen, it travels really slowly, and I think that's just an adorable idea. She has her ground freeze back, which that's cool, but also very annoying. She probably didn't have an MKM for a reason, because it's quite annoying in a 2D game. They just have a full screen freeze down low. But she has that. I think she has 4 moves. I think she has like one where she just charges at you, makes some like icicle shards at her wrist, and just like stabs at you. It might be her hands or whatever. I think it's like her palms. She just like palm strikes. That one's cool, which is just like a random use of a cryomancer. That's not really a callback to anything, but it's a bonus move, so I'll take it. I don't think she needed a 4th move. I don't know how they determine who deserves an extra move and who doesn't, because she has 2 freeze abilities, and she has her own slide, I think she might have. I can't exactly remember, but I think she has her own, like, low slide. I think she has plenty, but I'll take it. If it is the Daylight's one, it's a bit different, but it's pretty much going to be the Daylight's one, which is cool. And yeah, she's just very neat. It's neat to have Frost. And unfortunately, this is the one game where Sub-Zero is no longer Kuai Liang, so you can't have a assist Kuai Liang, which is a shame. Well, you can get like a Daylight Sub-Zero skin, I guess, and there's that pairing. Sub-Zero has his Daylight's costume, but Frost doesn't. It's weird. But yeah. Serena! Oh man, it's a shame. Okay, first of all, I think she's a great pick. She's a great pick for this roster. But she's one affected by the demon redesign, which I think most people don't like. I'm always someone who likes showing off the species more. You make them stand out. But the whole point of these demon characters that just look human is they have disguises on. And she has a demon form. This is a new gimmick she has. We get to see her demon form, which is cool, but pretty generic. And also she's naked. Not going to question it, but yeah. And then when she gets on this form, she has like the same like weird like skin horn things that Serena does, and the ugly black eyes. That's just me, Astra, I mean. Has the same as Astra. And Astra has an explanation, because like the Chris like makes it look more human, which I think is a pointless detail, but at least they tried explaining it. What's the excuse for Serena? Because it's not what Astra looks like is not the normal demon look. A regular human disguise would be full human, so I don't know why they chose to be unfaithful with this, because this makes less sense than just having to look fully human and then swapping between forms. I think giving her a swap between forms is a cool one. I do think it takes over her getting any actual moves she had in the games, which honestly people probably don't remember most of them. Even though she's like one of the best characters in Armageddon, which is a shame. Because she has 4 moves and none of them are classic. She doesn't have any other actual weapons. She has Kia's boomerang blades. Kia's boomerang blades from Mythologies. What? How did they remember that? How did they remember Kia having boomerang blades, but couldn't even give Serena any, like, Kama or her Demon Fang sword? But she has Kia's boomerang blades. Cool, but why? The boomerang blades are one of the returning weapons in this game. You have, like, the Chris. You have, like, Scorpion Spear, and even that's a bit different in this game. You have I can't think of anything else. But yeah, boomerang blades from Kia are one of the only things. Which is a pretty insane callback, but it's like, just make Kia and Jataka cameos then. And then have Serena fully playable. Yeah, you know, I feel like, because another ability is Jataka's Curse, which is like summons like some orange rune thing on the floor. Kind of MKX Quan Chi style, and it drains meter, I think. That's what it does. It has nothing to do with actual Jataka, they just want to name something after her. So, the boomerang blades are actual like Kia related. Because that's something she does have in Mythologies. But I find it is such an insane callback. It's cool, but it's so oddly specific that you called back to a very obscure weapon that Serena's friend had instead of giving Serena any of her actual weapons. She has another thing she does with the blades. I don't even remember what. She has like 2 different ones, and I don't know what the difference is because one just seems better than the other. And then I kind of know what her last move is, but I assume it's something to do with her demon powers. Where she swaps forms. I know it affects her, she transforms in her Fatal Blow and her Fatality, I think, and the Fatality might be something new because she didn't have any Fatalities before, which makes sense, and her Fatal Blow and Throw. But yeah, like, it's just weird. It's weird. The costume itself is fine. Like, I don't think anyone has much of an attachment to any of her old designs because the bland she wore, like in the game she's in, she wears the shadow costumes well after she's left the faction, and it's just really skimpy. So like, yeah, it makes us change it. They list this as a Mythology design, which it's just not. It's better. It's a better costume, but it's not. And yeah, they just kind of mess up the whole model. The hair is still intact, but like she doesn't have the face paint. It's like some scar shit. Like it's like a scar over her face. Like, what is that? Oh, and her eyes aren't fully black. It's got, like, a red right now. It's kind of cool, but, like, I don't care. I don't really want this. So, yeah. It's nice to have Serena back, but this is not it. No, this really ain't. I completely forgot about Goro, not gonna lie. I completely forgot about him. So we're retracing back. We're retraining back. I'm glad we are, because Goro is like Serena since that he's just so different. There are Kameos that have like altered models. I think Mataro, Chameleon, Darius, they're also story cameos. So I don't know if that's a pattern, but Shinjinko's another one as well, and he's not in story. It feels like if you're not from like the original Jew games, you don't get a redesign, and then even then Goro's not getting one, which is weird. Goro's getting a redesign here, and I don't know why. It's so different that they haven't even passed it off as being anything from our previous game. His costume is just called Dragon Armor. His models looks weird. Like he's darker now. You know, he's got like brown scales on him, which doesn't look terrible. I don't know how it looks bad per se. But when you pair that with a completely unrecognizable costume, it just looks like a new Shokan. It just looks like a brand new Shokan. You probably could have just given Bob the blacksmith a cameo slot. You really could have. You really could have. I probably prefer that, actually, because this is not Goro. Whose man is this? It's not my boy. Goro has probably just fell off like harder than any other character. Yeah, in terms of presentation, because he had so many comics. He was a genuine threat. He's like front and center MK4. He was a big deal. His true return, I'd been presumed dead. He has the crazy puppet in the movie. You know, and then like, and this is actually the 3DO's fault. This is one of the few things 3DO have fucked up on. They killed him off. then brought him back in the very next game and just had him be Shao Kahn's bitch boy. Brilliant. Brilliant. 10 out of 10. Great. And now he's just a jobber. You know, Johnny Cage knocks him out. I don't think he's royalty. He has palettes that refer to him as such, but he also has palettes that refer to him as a champion. And I don't think he is a tournament champion, because apparently Earthrealm always wins. And also, he just doesn't dress like one. He's in the story, but we learn nothing about him. His voice is terrible for the one line he has. It's some weird monster voice, and it's very hard to comprehend what he's even saying. The armor costume itself isn't even bad, it's just generic. It's what all the Reiko Soul is wearing, and what Reiko himself is wearing. It's a shame, because you know, Deception alt costume for Goro, where he has like that cool Shokan armor, that's much cooler. If they had just picked that costume for some reason, I would have been cool with that. Like it would have been random, but I would have been all for that. But no, they've gone with this. I don't know why. Because Goro's one of your most iconic characters, and yet he's the one character you chose to be completely unfaithful to. Even his moves, his only like real classic moves, like his stomp, he has his like walking punches, which are from MKX, so not a classic move, but I'll take it. And the rest is kind of new stuff. I don't think that's like a fatality that calls back to me. I think it's a brand new one, I think. It's just weird. It's just very peculiar. Again, I don't have the game, so I can't know how fun Goro actually is as a cameo, but he's not a very appealing one, which is a shame. They made his model a bit bigger, and I think it looks fine. I think the scaling looks fine. He should still be obviously a lot larger, but MK's scaling's always been bad. It makes sense to have him not be too big. And he's in the backdrop anyway, so you can just kind of see him, oh, he'd be taller up close. But yeah, he's supposed to be shorter. Like it's just not Goro. It is a shame. It is a shame. I mean, it makes sense to have him on the cameo roster, but it's like Serena, where they just kind of botched the cameo. That's weird, because like it's just these two. And I guess Tremor, we'll get to Tremor. But Tremor's just like kind of always an anomaly, so that one doesn't really surprise me. But yeah, I don't know what they did with Goro here. You know what, let's stick on the bosses, Motaro. Now, Motaro's a really cool one. His costume isn't accurate. Like his like armor, his metal, like cybernetic-esque armor, is quite different here. But it's just more detailed and cooler. It's not like they replace it over an iconic look for him. It's still Motaro. His face is a bit weird, but I think it looks very good. He's scaled a lot better. You know, he should probably be taller, but I think he's scaled quite well. Like when you customize his palette, like he like raises his feet up because he does like his classic pose, which is so dope, where he raises his hand up, and like that goes off screen. Like he's a tall motherfucker. And his palettes are awesome too, because each one changes it doesn't just change like the color of his armor, it changes his horse body. It changes the fur. Not the fur, what is it? Pal? I don't know. His horse body changes colors, and that's pretty cool. It's not something I ever thought of doing for him. But they just did a very good job. His energy power is red, not green, which turns out that's what it was in MK3. Armageddon is green, and I just kind of always thought it was green. I prefer the green, but the red looks more menacing. It's weird because there's like no green energy in this game. But I can't think. I think Goro has it. He doesn't really showcase it off, but I know in his break he does like some spinning attack that just knocks you back, and it's kind of cool. I wish they did more of like that old green energy, because that's a classic Goro thing. It's just he doesn't do enough of it for me to really make note of it. Like Johnny obviously doesn't have his green energy. Shao Kahn doesn't have it anymore. Shang Tsung's soul magic isn't really showcased at all. I don't know if he has it. It's weird. It's quite weird. So Motaro's got red energy, which is cool. He makes like a projectile shield. He can teleport you. He does his cool ass pose that I mentioned earlier whilst teleporting you. He does stuff where he has to be stagnant. So there's kind of like they must throw around his movements in general, I guess. But like it's hard to tell. You can't really tell that they are making compromises for him. But other stuff is he just stands there. Because for a move, like he doesn't like charge at the opponent or anything, which would be cool, but he's more like a ranged guy, which for a big guy is a bit weird, but it's cool because they get to show off his powers more, which I think are very cool. Like he does his projectile, his tail projectile, and that's awesome. That's like a brutality where like he blows you up and then you fall down, and then like he teleports on top of you and just stomps his hooves down your head. Like that's rad. That's fucking dope. His fatality is a brand new one, and this is another thing that feels like the Kameos brought a return of, is brutal, because not all of them are just silly, but a lot of them are just brutal, but quick and effective fatalities. You know, like he lifts you up by the arms and just stabs his tail in your head, and then he sends a projectile that's in your head and it blows your head up. That's it. You're dead there. Like he did a cool, unique way of killing you, and that's it. He didn't kill you and then fuck your corpse like most of the modern fatalities. So I appreciate that. I think he's a pretty damn perfect cameo. It's good to have him back. We'll probably lose him again when this feature inevitably doesn't return, which it probably shouldn't. But it's just cool to have him. It's very cool to have Motaro. And he has a lot of characters he actually pairs with, you know, Shao Kahn, Reiko. I say there's a lot of characters. I've listed two. I've listed a whole two. Well then, alright. Never mind then. He's cool though. He's a cool motherfucker. He really is. And it's why I really want like a Kentaro character. I want a Shokan character because obviously I have the Goro character to pair him with. Double Shokan. 4 arms, 1 moveset. That'd be rad. But then you can have like a Centaur Shokan, you know? Because they're allies in this time, which I'm cool with. That's something I think is neat. I think that's a neat little change. So yeah. We got Motaro, it's time to get Kintaro. It really is. I think he's a must-have for the DLC. For sure. You need a playable Shokan. For one. And two, like, it's been so long since we got Kintaro. It's been a stupidly long time. Like, I was there for Yeo cards because I just think they all deserve a chance to probably come back as it's so long. Like, Kintaro is absolutely the one who deserves to come back the most. Yeah. That's all. Now we have Darius. They don't stand out like Kameos doesn't picks here. You know, I don't know why they chose him, but I'm very happy they did. I'm very happy they did. He's just cool. His costume's new, but like it's close enough to the Deception costume that it doesn't bother me. He doesn't have his gauntlets anymore, but that's fine because I mean that was technically his fighting style. It was fully playable and didn't have his gauntlets there. I'd find it weird, but they like give him a bit of a brawler style in his Fatal Blow and his throw, where he teams up with you to do like a little punch combo, which is cool. But I think the best part is like his actual abilities that focus on his blue energy. They kept that around. They remembered it. Wow. And well, none of his actual like classic moves, which has like 5 special moves, kind of quite a bit for the time, using those energy powers. They don't do that. They don't do any of that. They do call back to like his spin kicks though. He has one where he does a kick with a blue energy and like it creates like some particle effects around the opponent and they're like spun around stunned. He has no one where he gets literally spinned around when he does the kicks. Instead of just doing regular spin kicks, you spin him around. So you have that kind of actual interaction with your assist with this cameo, which is cool. And another one you like... So that's basically his moves. But he has more when you combine them. So he's quite unique in a way where you send him in. So like say he does a spin kick. You can just leave it at that and then like do a combo fit, or you can do some extra stuff like by holding down the button. I think you do, and like he'll do an extra kick, or he'll like come to you. You can like kip him up, you know, like give him a leg up. He stands on your hands. You flip him over. He does a backflip kick that pops the opponent up, or you can just like I don't know what it comes from, but there's a way to do like the spin kicks following another kick. He has just like so many fucking kicks, and like you can just like combine all his moves. You just have so many options for what you do, and I think that's really cool. Nothing is like truly like pulled straight from Deception, but it takes a lot of inspiration from the game. He feels like Darius. He has a voice line. He goes, yeah, which he does in his in a Deception fatality. He does that for Brutality. So that's something. And it's his fatality is my criticism. And it's not even that this fatality is bad. They just chose the wrong one. They chose his first Deception fatality, where he like rips your arms off and bops your head off. Which, that's fine. It's a generic fatality though. They didn't pick the masterpiece one where he swaps your limbs around, goes and then kicks you. Like best fatality in the franchise, and they didn't bring it back. I don't care how fucking goofy it is. They should have brought that back. Anyway, Shujinko, my favorite Mortal Kombat character. It's awesome to see him back. He looks quite different. His costume, it's similar enough. It feels like a Shujinko costume, but it's also different enough to feel like a new costume. Like, you got new patterns on the costume. And in general, it's just like the robes are a bit different. His beard's different. He doesn't have a big bushy beard, which I prefer the bushier beard, but this is fine. And the bushy eyebrows, that's another thing. The hair is pretty much accurate, though. And he has a lot of cool parts as well. It was nice to see him again. You know, that Rulers of Outworld trailer with like Shao and Sindel. I did not give a toss for Shao or Sindel. And I still don't. I think they're both pretty boring in this game. Shao Kahn got buried and Sindel's just been boring since Armageddon. And Armageddon, MK9, but Armageddon just like, it's just Deception Sindel missing a fighting star. And I was more excited for Batara cameo and Shingo cameo, which were like the last two character reveals. There are two you unlock as well, which I think is very cool, because they're probably the two most anticipated cameos. Because Shingo, you know, this protagonist character who's been gone for so long, major character, and then Mataro, this iconic boss who hasn't gotten to be playable for so long, and he's finally gotten a chance again. So I think that's pretty cool. You also have to unlock like the repeat characters before then. So I guess it's, I don't know why, but you do. So I think the cameo unlocks are cool in that sense. And yeah, his moveset, it's just, it is perfect. It is so perfect. I wish I was recording my reaction when they did the Kombat cast for him, because I think it's so awesome what they did with the Shujinko cameo moveset. It's the best part of this game. Like by far, it is the very best part of this game, you know. As a big Shujinko fan, I'm always sold on it from that alone. Not at full price, though. No. They have not taken me. I will not buy it. But it's just so fucking cool. Whoever did this, like, they love Deception Conquest. Whoever designed this moveset, they absolutely love Deception Conquest. Because he does so many references. He's very unique in the sense that you have to build his meter, because you have the Kameos, which I didn't even explain mechanics. I feel like everyone knows it. You have this meter that fills like automatically, and like each move like costs a certain amount of meter, which makes sense. So you can't just like spam these powerful cameo moves. It makes sense. Shingo, you have to send him in for him to refill his meter. How does he refill his meter? He meditates. He does the Deception Conquest meditating. It is perfect. He even levitates this time around. I don't know why, but fucking short Shujinko. I can't believe he does that. And they do it so you can like have him meditate on the ground, but also like in the air. Because you can hit the cameo. The game plan against Shujinko is hit him to interrupt his meditation. So that the bar's filled. I'm not sure if his bar gets filled enough to do a move, you have to do the move and then meditate again. I'm not sure how that works. But either way, yeah, you want to stop him from filling up the bar. And the reason you have to go through all this trouble to get his moves is he only has 2 instead of the usual 3. But what he does is he takes from the character. The character you're up against, he takes 2 moves from him. He takes a throw as well, which I think is just for the sake of the animation. I don't think that really matters. And he does some cool stuff, you know, like if it's a character where he would do their special move in Deception, he does it. Like, he does the spear, he does the ice ball. He does, like, this flip kick Li Mei and Sindao have. He can't do, like, the foot grab that he took from Sindao in Deception, because Sindao just never got that move back. That's kind of only in the 3D era, which is a shame, because I think that was actually cool. How she, like, grabs your legs and does, like, the opposite of a handstand, like, kicks you in the face. Like, that's pretty rad. I wish that was still around. But yeah, he's just awesome. He's just awesome, man. It's only 2 instead of 3, because with him being, for us moves, they're more powerful. I make sure to pick 2 very powerful moves for him. And also, it's just stuff that, like, helps with combos. So he's less situational than I think he seems at first. I could be wrong, because again, I don't have the game. It might be wishful thinking that he's actually usable, because it seems like the ability he takes, it doesn't matter which character you have, you'll make the use of it. He just seems very cool, and the fact he takes stronger moves than any other cameo, that's just kind of neat. For the sense that, like, it's Shijinko. He is the strongest motherfucker in the franchise. He is the most powerful guy in the franchise. Like, undeniably. Like, he is such an overpowered power. And I think they did a great job showcasing it, of him copying the moves. They were very clever how they did it, and how they balanced it with the meditation thing. But I didn't even mention the meditation. You can, like, how you call him in is you can hold him to determine how far he runs onto the screen. He does like a goofy little jog onto the screen. He does like a Deception Conquest run onto the screen. And then whenever you stop, he goes to meditate. Like you are controlling just Deception Conquest Shijinko, and then when he's got his meter filled, you're like it's like full gameplay Shijinko where he's copying moves and shit. It's dope. It's really dope. You can also, like, send him in to hit the opponent. He got the ability. He has what's called the Apex punch, where he does a punch like Deception Conquest, where you just punch NPCs around before he starts meditating, which is just such a mood. That's just how people played Conquest. You just punch someone and then meditate. Like that's just how Shijinko behaves. Like he's just this little, like, the Conquest Shijinko, he's just this little goblin who will just rob your house, punch you, meditate till the next day. And I just think that's just so funny that they managed to put that into a moveset. And it does a good job of making it not feel like it sucks that he's just an assist, because if he was a fully playable character, you would not be able to represent that in a moveset. So it feels like he got something special from taking a cameo role, taking a back seat, essentially. He also has one where he kicks you. I assume it's a low kick. I think that's the difference. And that's not really correct to anything in particular, but it's called a conquest kick, so that's fun. Just a fun cameo. The best part of this game. You know, as a Deception fan, this is like the one thing where, like, yeah, I'd want the game just to fuck around with this guy. Very cool. 10 out of 10. Moving on. Tremor. The return of variation / fighting styles comes in the form of this little rock in your pocket. Tremor here. His design's fucking dog shit. This is one of the worst designs, honestly. Like not even like into the costume, because again, it's a CMK2 costume, which is fine. But like the model, that does not look like rocks. It looks like tree bark. And he's so tiny. This is worse than the Goro scaling. He's just a regular sized dude. Even when he was in palette swapping Special Forces, he was not this. He just wasn't. Also, stop using this palette. Like it's gone out of hand. It's gone out of hand. We have 4 cameos using this costume that was DLC in MK11 4 years ago. 4 years ago, and that game had 10 reuse of it. It's reusing Onslaught several times. It's reusing the mobile game several more times. Stop. Make new costumes, for fuck's sake. It's paid DLC. Luckily, this game makes up for it, for like the very lazy costume. He also has an all black palette, like he's Noob Saibot, I guess. Where he has like his variation from here as well. Take two abilities that he had from that, which I think is very cool. I was just saying two, but he's not going to have three per one, and he gets more moves than any other character. And he just has like a passive move where he'll pop in and like he'll just change his rocks for a certain character. I think it's a neat mechanic. And it feels like fighting styles more than actual variations, because he actually swaps between them in a game. The only downside is literally only two moves. But he's cool. I like his brutality because he gets like he puts a little boulder face on you sometimes. That's pretty quirky, and his fatality is just this new boulder thing. That's fine. Overall, I think he's fine. I think it's a good cameo pick. I don't like the design. I think the moveset's good. So yeah, mixed bag, but overall I'm pretty fine with it. I think the gameplay's cool. Overpriced though, but he's not going to be the only DLC assist like that. So yeah. So that about does it. That's kind of my review on the cameos, which I think is the coolest part of this game. And even though I think there's flaws with them, though I'm pretty positive on them because they're relatively harmless, I'd say. They're just your little pocket assists, and some are very cool. It's cool to see. Certain faces come back, they do some clever things with them. And yeah, it's what makes this game stand out. Without it, it would do nothing. It would have nothing at all. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.